Take a little walk to the edge of town and go across the track where the
Why were you asking to give to Dawkins? I mean, if his experience is his own,
No, well, he was responding specifically to your answer, which was, well, God gave the experience to Paul because God knew that Paul would be the guy who could go out there and make Christianity a big global phenomenon and convert billions.
You were making an implication about notoriety
and
or
influence. And so since Dawkins is currently the most influential atheist in the globe, then here's another a possibility for God to take hold of in the same way that you're saying that he did for Saul. Go ahead, convert Dawkins, have Dawkins turn around, write a brand new book saying I was completely wrong in the God delusion, and here's my testimony for Jesus and what have you, and then see what that does to atheism.
And I'd also say that in the case of Dawkins, if he gets a Damascus Road experience as well, that's not going to convince me. Why should it? It's his experience, not mine. Why should somebody convert or believe something based on somebody else's experience? Ever.
Well, let me talk about the first thing.
Okay.
I know this is not exactly the same thing because this person didn't become a Christian per se. But does the fact that Anthony Flew now believes in God or in some kind of God convince you of the reliability of theism in any respect?
No.
If we gave it to Dawkins, if he became a Christian, what would that do to atheism? Well, probably the foremost atheist philosopher converting to some form of deism, and that didn't do very much for atheism. So
I
why should we
agree.
believe Dawkins?
I agree, it didn't. And
My point about Dawkins was only responding to your one implication about notoriety and influence. That's it. I don't think that should matter, and I would never think that it should matter. It was only in response to that one point.
I mean, I think we also do need to keep into account that Paul was a mass murderer. Again, he was basically a terrorist.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think in this particular case, giving the information to Paul not only stopped him from killing people, but it also made it so that Christianity still exists. I mean, I think if we gave it to Dawkins, why do I keep saying we? I think if God gave that information to Dawkins, it wouldn't affect the fact that Christianity would still exist 100 years from now. I really don't believe that.
Well, let me ask you this. I realize we're going back into a presumption of yours that I disagree with, but what Saul was doing was killing Christians.
Right.
And do you believe there's a hell?
I believe there is some kind of hell, yes. I'm not sure what it's like, but yeah.
Okay, in any case, somebody spends eternity either in oblivion or in eternal torment or something.
Yes.
Okay. What Saul was doing could be viewed as sending Christians to meet their Maker. What Dawkins and the rest of us are doing, in anybody that we deconvert, or not that that's necessarily a goal, but we are specifically preventing people and seeking to prevent people from accepting something that you think sends them to heaven, and the rejection of which, maybe, I'm not sure on all your criteria, would potentially send them to hell. So wouldn't it be more beneficial for God to start converting these major atheists than it would be for him to convert Saul?
Well, I don't know. I think in many ways now, especially, and now that Christianity has been set and the foundations have been laid, I think that mostly the work on behalf of coming to God is not his doing, as in it is our doing, that we